CoppleCars.com. Stock numbers G13885 and G16518 $2,500 down with proof credit.
Stop asking your friends if they're hosting a party this Sunday and come join the real party instead. Join 93.7 The Ticket for the Super Bowl at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O this Sunday and walk away with great prizes just for showing up. Why worry about making a great spread of foods for the game at your house when you can enjoy all the great wings and more at Buffalo Wings and Rings? It's the Super Bowl party with 93.7 The Ticket at Buffalo Wings and Rings this Sunday at 68th and O. Hey guys, it's Austin Orman. Join me and former Husker Jay Foreman this Friday, February 6th for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Roads in South Lincoln. We'll tell you all you need to know about the premier indoor golf place in Lincoln while enjoying Friday afternoon action of the Waste Management Open. Stop by for giveaways, prizes, and a tour of the facility. We hope to see you there on Friday, February 6th, beginning at 3 p.m. for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf in South Lincoln.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, patchy fog this morning. Otherwise, we'll see mostly cloudy skies and light winds. The high around 39. Tonight, mainly cloudy skies, calm winds, a low around 24. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly cloudy skies and light winds with an afternoon high near 37. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're tired of the dieting circuit paradox but still want to look, feel, and perform better, you need to get to Nutrition Authority and ask about our nutrition coaching featuring LifeBase. LifeBase takes the complex world of nutrition and makes it simple with real results that last. Stop in to learn more or check us out on mynutritionauthority.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Every winter, I struggle with feeling sluggish and down. I've read about the benefits of red light systems, but trying the Spectrum 7 at MaxTan has become my bright spot. A few sessions of full body red light, and I'm more energized and centered. It's my go-to winter boost, MaxTan.
This is the Adam Carrker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, first and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carrker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carrker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carrker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carrker.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Adam Carrker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's a glorious Monday. Jake, how do you define glorious?
Phenomenal? I don't know.
Well, you know, you can't use the word that you're trying to define. You can't use the word in the definition of the word that you're trying to define, because I used to do that as a kid all the time. Yeah. So my dad was like, how would you define glorious? Well, I think glorious means glorious, you know, and so you didn't do that. You did phenomenal. Yeah. So I like that. That was a phenomenal response right there, Jake.
I should have said phenomenally phenomenal.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. So lots going on in Husker sports this weekend. It's still a glorious weekend, even a Monday. We're wrapping up the weekend, heading into a new week, even though, you know, maybe not some of the scores didn't quite go our way. Men's basketball, obviously, didn't get the result we wanted versus Illinois. Wrestling Penn State's pretty darn good, undefeated, consensus number one, unanimous number one. Would you tell me right before we went on there, won 4 national titles in a row?
Yeah.
They pretty much been shutting people out all year. Wrestling competed, and it was close. It was 8-9 at one point. And Penn State does end up pulling away, 26-12. And then Nebraska women's basketball didn't quite get the job done versus the Buckeyes. But we've got games, at least at the moment, that are worth tuning into. Now, no, we want to win these. Let's be clear. We want to win these. But it's better than having like 1 or 2 really good sports programs and the rest, yeah, they're good. We're not great. So I'll just come back a day later and see how much we lost by. Like, that's not what any of this was. It was like, all right, what's happening? What's going on? Obviously, we want to get to the point where we're winning more of these. And I really do think Nebraska basketball specifically, they can get back on track. You got Rutgers on Saturday. You got a big opportunity versus a top 15 Purdue team a week from Tuesday. So they win those 2 games. We'll be back on track. And I think Husker Nation kind of understands that. It's interesting how there is different expectations for different programs, like with the football program. I think the roof would be on fire right now, and there'd be a lot different reaction. But there's also been a longer tenured history of certain things in football, a lot more investment, if we're being honest with you, with fans' emotions. Now you're getting into the monetary side of things, so that changes what the reaction will be as well. Not that there hasn't been investment in other sports, but it's on another level when it comes to football. Also, there's another level of money that's made when it comes to football. So part of that, you want to return on your investment as a fan. Just, there's been a lot of patience. You want that return on investment emotionally, now monetarily with the way that things work out. But I don't know. I'm sitting here. I'm actually in a pretty good mood today, Jake. I feel like we got a women's basketball team can get into the tournament, can make a little bit of noise. We got a men's basketball team that I feel like will get into the tournament and can absolutely make some noise. A wrestling team that, once again, has the potential to compete for a national title. Penn State's going to be the overwhelming favorite, and they should be. But a wrestling team that a lot of people are going to be paying attention to, especially as you start to get into the postseason. And they're following along during the season as well. But things start to matter. The longer a season goes on, the more things matter. I always said in college football, and it's changed a little bit now at the playoff, but the games to remember are played in November. Okay, well, now they're also in December and, some of these other months where there's now playoff games. So it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. We did have an interesting start to our morning at the Carrker house. You want to hear about this?
Yeah.
So we got to bed a little bit late last night. We're like, all right, can we sleep in like 15 minutes? Get up at 6:15 instead of 6. And all of a sudden, I hear noise outside of our room, and then a light goes on. And our alarm has not gone off yet. I'm like, somebody's up. And then we hear the vacuum going. I'm like, Ange, did somebody break into our house?
And vacuum?
And are they vacuuming? Like, before I go beat them up, I'm going to let them finish vacuuming. Then I'm going to go out and see what's going on. Well, what happened was one of our kids did not get the memo that we were getting up 15 minutes later. And so they have chores they do in the morning. And so our daughter had gotten up and was started to vacuum. I was like, man, if you're going to break into my house, it's not going to be good news. But if you're going to vacuum, I'll give you a few minutes to get that done before I handle business here. But no, it was one of our daughters who did not get the memo that could have slept in. It was 6:06. Could have slept in 9 more minutes, but that's okay. I just was like, wow, what is going on? We have a thief in our house, I think, and I think they're vacuuming, and I'm all sorts of confused right now. I don't know how to feel about this situation at the moment. You ever had anything like that happen to you?
Well, it's funny because last night we were away and we got a camera set up in our living room, but we couldn't see anything except for the TV was on, and the TV was off when we left. So it's like somebody break in and start watching TV. I think the dog knocked it over the remote or something, but I don't know how that happened.
Is your house haunted?
Could be.
Do weird things happen around Halloween?
No, I haven't noticed anything. I've lived there for several years.
So we've got some cameras. And so we'll catch some wildlife sometimes, like deer and coyotes and all this stuff. And the deer and coyotes, like, I'm not trying to wish this into being. I'm kind of like, do they never, because they're literally, we'll see them in the same spots at different times. Do they never, and I don't wish that they cross paths, but do they just never cross paths? Because how does this happen? Because it'll alert our camera and we'll see it. And we've never caught anything bad yet. It's always just, oh, look at the deer, or look at our friend. The kids have started to name the different, animals, squirrels and coyotes and whatnot. So
that's when they do cross paths. Hopefully it's on camera.
Well, I don't think that's a video we would be showing the kids. If that ever happened, up to this point, we're good here. So, All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Adam Carrker Show. Lots to talk about. Reacting to Nebraska basketball, women's basketball, wrestling, some Husker football updates. Dude, this was a ginormous, and I talked about it on Friday. This was a ginormous recruiting weekend. I'm not going to go through all the names again. There was at least 5 big-time basketball recruits in. The number 1 international player, number 1 player in the state of Nebraska, 2 a 5-star, and at least 2 4-stars that were in the top 50 in the country when it comes to recruiting rankings. Do you still put the same amount of value into rankings as you once did? Has Curt Cignetti just kind of undercut the rankings of recruits now? Does it even matter anymore? Like, how much value do you put into this now? Because when we had the 14 playoff, it was gospel. The rankings were gospel. And there was a reason for it. It tended to be that there were about, 5-6 teams that had the highest ranked recruiting classes every year, and they tend to be the same 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that were rotating in and out of the CFP playoff, like Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson, all those teams. It seemed to be that Notre Dame, then they'd get mollywopped every year when they did get in. Think they would have got mollywopped this year had they gotten in?
Probably not mollywop, but
Curb stomped?
Curb stomped, yes.
Whoop sideways?
There you go.
I actually think they were a pretty good team.
Yeah.
They did not, based on the rules of the format, they did not deserve to be in. Okay? Do I think that they were better than maybe, one of the couple of the G5 teams? Yes, but based on the rules, they did not deserve to be in. But man, when they got into those 14 playoffs, I don't think they ever won. I don't think they were ever realistically competitive. But now with NIL, the transfer portal, it was easier, I think, to go by recruiting rankings back then because you could just stockpile. Hey, our first, second, our third team can beat your second team, and our second team can beat your starters, let alone what our starters could do. And they were all just on these few rosters. Now, there are positives to the NIL and transfer portal. It's insanity, but there are some positives to the insanity, and that is it spreads out the talent. So now evaluation becomes that much more important. Evaluation, development, things of that nature, just as Curt Cignetti showed us. He had a 30th ranked portal class going into his first year and 25th ranked going into his first year. His high school recruiting rankings, classes, as far as recruiting ranking, were not even close to that high. And we saw what they just did. Oddly enough, depending on where you look, they either have the number 1, 2, or 3 transfer portal class for this year. So that's a little bit scary when you mesh that with what he's done so far. But Nebraska football had over a dozen recruits in, 9 4-stars, a 5-star. Okay. Although it was mentioned to me that maybe Ahmad Hudson didn't actually make it in. I know he was scheduled to come in. So I might have to make an addendum to that. And then basketball had a bunch of recruits at the Illinois game. All right, so before we dive into all that, I want to give a shout out real quick. Culligan of Lincoln is a former Husker and NFL player. As you know, I'm a bit of a health nut. Hydration and recovery, they do start at home. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you team up with Culligan of Lincoln. Soft water means better showers, cleaner dishes, and it protects your water heater and appliances. The high-efficiency softener cuts salt and water usage. For drinking, make sure you add a Culligan reverse osmosis. It's like bottle-quality water right at your tap. Great taste, and it's certified to reduce tough contaminants like lead and PFAs. Right now, get up to $300 off a whole home system or just $9.95 a month for your first 3 months. Schedule your free water test at CulliganHuskers.com. That's CulliganHuskers.com. Culligan of Lincoln, water you love, go Big Red. So as you look at the Nebraska basketball game versus Illinois, all right, the bad guys won 78-69. A couple things stand out to me. And I mean, we can just get to the clips if you want, but their length seemed to give us issues, which I thought was interesting because we had our taller players, Rink, Mask, and Frager playing. We didn't have those guys versus Michigan, and Michigan's pretty freaking enormous, and we didn't seem to have the same issues. I thought that was a little bit interesting. Again, I don't want... This is just amazing to me. I don't want to spend a ton of time on refs. They shot 26 free throws. We shot 5. We've shot 9 combined free throws in our last 2 games. Our opponents have shot almost 50. So is the Big Ten just out there that much with how they hate us, or is this something we're doing? Because to me, we're not a team. Hey, there's a lot of dribble handoffs. There's a lot of screening at the point guard at the top of the key. There's a lot of cuts. There's a lot of slipping screens, like we're going to screen and slip to the hoop. You hit them over the top. A lot of those things that they do are great, nonstop offense. Constant options, constant screens, constant things that creates open shooters. You hear opposing coaches talk about it. You watch the film, and it's like, wow, this is really impressive. I think other teams might finish at the hoop a little bit more aggressively than us, which leads to more fouls and more free throws. And I don't think we do that as much. I think that's a part of it. Is there more to it, though? Like, is it really, has the Big Ten not yet accepted us? Are we still the not loved child? I mean, we love all of our children, but the Big Ten, do they not love us yet? What is the deal here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is partially the play style, as somebody says off the text line too. OG Breaker says when you can't drive to the hoop, you're not going to give fouls. So I think that's part of it. But as Fred Hoiberg kind of explained as well, it's not all about driving to the hoop and getting the foul. It's guys grabbing, guys coming off screens, and for Sanford just to get 2 shots off in the second half, they must have been doing something that was probably not Nebraska's plan going into the second half.
So why don't you play that clip? Because we've got the clip where he talks about maybe a little bit of tugging going on, and he was a little bit frustrated that it wasn't called. Go ahead and roll that there, Jake.
They gotta let Price run. He's getting held, he's getting grabbed. Our offense, freedom of movement. I mean, that's got to be enforced. So I thought Price with his movement. We run I think a pretty aesthetically pleasing offense. But when you're being held, you can't run it. And, so we're going to continue to try to do it and cut and with force and do everything we can, to get these guys open and free them up. But it's tough at times when you're out there.
So for me, he has a point. There's a couple clips where he's coming off screens, Price coming off screens, and there's the jersey is not hanging straight down. It's going straight back a little bit. And then there's a hand connected to that back part of the jersey that's going straight back, which means he's my over-explaining way of saying he might have been tugged on or held on just a little bit. So I do think that affected it, but you look at other things, because I don't want to dwell on the refs all day. It's almost too easy sometimes to talk about those things. Rebounds, they out-rebounded us 40-27. That's a pretty big disparity. Their length, their size, again, seemed to give us a little bit of issue. Again, which surprises me, because we had more length than we did versus Michigan, and Michigan's a pretty big team. You look at the points in the paint. This was really the difference in the game. They beat us by 9. They outscored us by 10, 28-18 when it came to points in the paint. To me, it really came to the ability to get shots off, which maybe I think Hoiberg does have a point, but also it was down low, it was down in the paint. The rebounds, the points in the paint. I saw someone where they're like, oh, they might have pushed us around a little bit. Maybe. I think the Illinois is a pretty good team. I think on Sunday, they were the better team. Just like the first time when we played them on their court and we hit the three-pointer with less than a second to go to win 83-80, we were the better team on that day. I think it's 2 pretty good teams going head-to-head. You got to give Illinois credit. Illinois wins a consecutive AP top 5 road game for the first time in program history. So back-to-back top 5 road wins for Illinois. So they're doing some good things. We'll probably see them again, or Michigan State again. Who knows, in the Big Ten tournament, maybe even the Big Dance itself. With Nebraska basketball, I don't think anybody's panicking. I don't think anybody thought we'd go undefeated or even get through with 1 loss, but it's kind of like, all right, you look at schedule now. All right, we got to start stacking some wins again, like we were, obviously, for the first part of the season. We're going to Rutgers here, all right, on Saturday. Then you got Michigan, Tuesday of next week. So those are 2 games. I'm sorry, not Michigan, Purdue. I'm looking at the schedule, and I saw Michigan. It's actually Purdue. My apologies. So Rutgers on Saturday, Purdue, Tuesday of next week. Bounce back win against Rutgers. It's going to be a tough game against a good Purdue team. You get that win. Then you got Northwestern, very winnable game at home. You got some winnable games coming up. You just start stacking these wins. What do you think here, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I don't think anybody expected Nebraska to go undefeated throughout all this. And so here we are. You kind of hit your roadblock to a degree, but now you got to bounce back. And by the way, we say the latest AP coaches poll come out. They both have Nebraska at number 9. So they did fall out of the top 5 for losing 2 games here to top 10 teams, but not too far. And you're still a top 10 team and a program, and they look the part, right? So here you go. You get a week off. Basically, until next Saturday, you get to reset things at Rutgers, and the schedule's pretty favorable for Nebraska, especially going after that Big Ten race. Right, right now, that's the other thing is that with 2 losses this week, now you fall below Michigan and Illinois, each with just 1 loss in Big Ten play. But I think a favorable enough schedule for Nebraska down the line. Split with Illinois, obviously lose the tiebreaker to Michigan, but that'll be something to look at moving forward. I
think it's actually some respect right there. You You jump up to number 5 for the first time in program history. The highest ranking any collegiate basketball team in the state of Nebraska has ever had. The highest previous was 7, us, and then Creighton in the past. You lose 2 games. Immediately, I'm like, oh, we're probably out of the top 10. Are we still top 50? Like, that's just what I expect to happen to us. Would I have voted that? No, I would have voted, well, Michigan State's at 10, and we beat them. They have 3 losses. They're 19-3. We're 22, and we beat them. So 9 makes perfect sense. I don't know. I just expect the worst when it comes to other people and their opinions of Nebraska. I was like, will we even be top 15? So number 9 makes a ton of sense. Right in front of us. We'll just go top to bottom here. Again, number 1, the overwhelming favorite, in my opinion, to win it all, Arizona, undefeated, 22-0. Michigan up to 20-1 up to number 2. UConn, 21-1. Duke, 20-1. I feel like Duke's not talked about a ton this year. Is that just me? What are your thoughts on, just real quick, on Duke? Is it possible for a Duke basketball team to fly under the radar a little bit?
Maybe to agree, the ACC hasn't been what it was in the past, the last couple of years. They got some good competition there once again this season, but no, I think they're talked about enough, right? They're top 5.
They're talked about enough. It depends on how you define enough. You look at the top 15. There's only one other ACC team in the top 15, which is crazy. When you think about a lot of the programs that have a lot of basketball history in the ACC. So it's North Carolina at number 14, which for them is historically pretty low, but they're still North Carolina. Okay, so Duke at number 4. Illinois jumps up to number 5. They kind of replaced us. Gonzaga number 6. Iowa State number 7. Number 8 is Houston. Number 9, Nebraska, the good guys. Number 10, Michigan State. And I actually, because I've been talking about how the Big 12 should try to nab Duke, and they should try to nab UConn. I don't know if somebody heard me talking about this, but at his weekly radio show, Houston coach Kelvin Sampson was asked what schools would be a good expansion target for the Big 12. Like, how many people listen to this show? I know we have a ginormous audience, but I was like, wow, did they hear us? And probably nothing to do with us. He goes, if you add UConn, I'm headed to the lake house. Arizona is enough, end quote. He does not want UConn. Didn't even talk about, he doesn't want those schools in the Big. I don't blame him. But man, I think it'd be awesome. Like, if I'm from a Big 12's perspective, let's just take over college basketball as much as we can. So we have 2 other clips. You want to go ahead and one more from Hoiberg, one more from Illinois' head coach. Play Hoiberg real quick. We'll react, then we'll play Illinois' head coach. We can move on.
I thought their length in the paint bothered us. It took away some of our cutting. I thought early we curled, we got in there, we made some plays, we sprayed it out, and had some really good looks. Obviously, we got into a really good rhythm late in the half, and second half, we couldn't get those same. And I thought we had some good looks early. But and listen, that team's playing as well as any in the country right now. That's 11 in a row, I think, for them. Give Illinois credit. They're playing really good basketball right now. To me, the game came down to our inability to finish off possessions, and they were really controlling tempo. The play of the game is when Ivasic hit the ball out. It was the volleyball spike out to Davis, hit the 3. I think we cut it to 1 at that point, and then they get it to 4. We miss a 3, and then Merkovich gets a 2 that forced into the timeout. And then I thought they controlled tempo pretty much the rest of the way. And again, a lot of that was offensive rebounds, having to defend an extra 15 seconds after they got it. And then, listen, Wagler's playing as a first-team All-American right now. They're just getting the ball in his hands and letting him go to work and ISO, and they've got shooting all around him. So, I don't think it had anything to do with our effort. I thought our guys played hard. I thought we did a really good job on the glass in the first half. But I just didn't quite see that same fire, passion going after the ball that we had in the first.
So that's one thing Nebraska's going to have to. They're going to have to be more disciplined. They're going to have to execute at a higher level. We've got good players, but you go back to the recruiting rankings. If you're going to compete in the top 10, about every team we're going to play is going to have the advantage if you look at the recruiting rankings stacked up over the years. So you're going to have to be, and that's why we were able to play with Michigan so well, even being down 2 of our best players. The execution, the discipline, flat out outplayed and out hustled them. Okay, the wrong team won, but that's something we're gonna have to do to compete with other top 10 teams, we can compete with them, to beat other top 10 teams on any sort of a consistent basis. Go ahead and play Illinois' head coach. Here's that clip.
Underwood, what a win, in particular the second half. What were you seeing defensively from your group? You talked about wanting to take away, you got to take away the 3 or the 2, pick your poison. You guys did a pretty good job making it tough in the paint. What did you like on that end of the floor?
Yeah, that's been our a big part of our success is trying not to give up layups. They're so dynamic in terms of their cutting. They do a great job slipping screens. I thought we did a nice job, other than about a minute and a half stretch at the end of the first half, of making things hard. I thought we were connected. I think we made things a little more difficult for Price than he had in the first game against us. But, yeah, it was just a connected group today.
Keaton Wagler, again, has a great game. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, 2 for 9 from the floor, but, boy, in the second half, he settled in.
Yeah, his percentage would be really good if we'd quit throwing him the ball at the end of the shot clock, and he has to jack him from half court. But they did a great job. They're very good defensively, but I thought the second half we settled in. I thought we got some nice movement. We found some matchups we liked, and he just made plays.
Brad, great win. Congrats.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So Illinois is playing really well, as we know. They're a top 5 team in the country now, as you just let everyone know a couple of minutes ago. So kudos to Illinois. Hopefully we see them again. Probably will, either them or Michigan State, especially the Big Ten tourney. So we'll see what happens there. Looking forward to that. Some things that will travel for Nebraska basketball, because we do depend on really good shooting, and you're going to have off nights. It's kind of like a baseball team that depends on a lot of home runs. You can be fun to watch. You can be a really good team. But if you have a night where you don't have home runs, how are you going to manufacture runs? Can you bunt a runner along? Can you hit and run? Can you steal? Can you do certain things at certain times of the game? Can you have clutch hitting at the big moments? I talked about Nebraska softball. At one point last year, they were struggling with runners in scoring position. And then they were able to kind of fix that as the season went along going into the postseason. So you look at Nebraska basketball, here are things that will travel. Defense will travel. By travel, I mean they'll stay with you day in and day out. Being disciplined, executing, and out-hustling the other team. They're a really good shooting team. Like 80, 90% of the time, they're going to shoot really, really well. But since we're all human beings, there's going to be that other 10 to 20, and you got to be able to depend on those things that are going to travel no matter what. So I'm excited to see them against Rutgers, Purdue. They got their West Coast trip coming up, USC, UCLA, play our good buddies from Iowa a couple times, get back on track. I have all the faith in the world that's going to happen. Nebraska women's basketball does fall short to Ohio State. We will chat about and Nebraska wrestling briefly when we come back. A little bit of Husker football update news as well when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We shall return.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Hey guys, it's Austin Orman. Join me and former Husker Jay Foreman this Friday, February 6th for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Roads in South Lincoln. We'll tell you all you need to know about the premier indoor golf place in Lincoln while enjoying Friday afternoon action of the Waste Management Open. Stop by for giveaways, prizes, and a tour of the facility. We hope to see you there on Friday, February 6th, beginning at 3 p.m. for Old School, live from Back 9 Golf in South Lincoln.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
A lot of people in the summertime think, gee, I want to build a new home. By the time they go through the process of sitting down, getting the permits, and getting the home started, the home isn't done until January or February.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
I think the best time to start designing your new home is the month of February. Get an early start on it. Sit down, the snow's flying. Let's sit around the table. Let's drop some plans. When we're looking out for a homeowner, we're always keeping their budget in mind. Let's put numbers together and let's get that thing started so that the home's done in summer or fall before school starts. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
You started your business to build something special, Now it's time to grow and protect it. At Pinnacle Bank, our treasury management services help you do just that. Through smarter payment technology, account administration, and fraud protection. So no matter the size of your business, you can get the most out of your financial operations. Request your free consultation at pinbank.com/consult. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. The best barbecue deal in town is at Hog Wild. We're serving up a $5.99 meal deal that includes a one-meat sandwich, your favorite classic side and a drink, all for just $5.99. Craving brisket? Upgrade to our tender, slow-smoked beef brisket for only $1.50 more. Join us for lunch or dinner, or order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway, Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Culture and Coffee with Mike Smith and the Bowie Boys is back this Friday, February 6th, featuring members from the Nebraska baseball team. Stop by this Friday between 5 and 8 p.m. as we turn the ticket into a skate park. You heard that right, a skate park, and also highlight the upcoming year for Husker baseball with players from the team. Again, that's 5 to 8 p.m. this Friday, February 6th, for a live broadcast of Culture and Coffee from 5 to 7 p.m. and a Vintage Market Plus skate experience hosted by the Bowie Boys from 7 to 8 p.m. This is a party you won't want to miss.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G16518. 2,500 down with proof credit.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody. Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep the clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street, online at doubleeagle.golf.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
This is the Adam Carrker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carrker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, brought to you by our good friends at Hamilton Telecommunications, bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. Learn more about their residential and business services at hamiltontel.com. Again, that's Hamilton, TEL.com. Also, shout out to Suizo Construction. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a place where safety isn't just a policy, it is a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back, both on and off the job site. Apply today at Suizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com. 40 years strong in business. Suizo Construction. Jake's got some updates on women's basketball, the Senior Bowl, and for some reason, the Pro Bowl is on Tuesday. Take it away, Jake.
That's right. They have moved the Pro Bowl to Tuesday, which is strange, but hey, it's flag football and all that sort of stuff, so it's not quite the event that maybe it once was. So maybe just embracing it and maybe making a bigger part of Super Bowl weekend. So that's kind of strange. But the Senior Bowl did go on. Nebraska was represented. The secondary for Nebraska specifically represented, and Deshaun Singleton made the most of it. Got an interception of Senior Bowl MVP Garrett Nussmeier. Also added 4 tackles. Sierra Wright did not record a stat, but he did get a critical stop as far as pass defense on a 4th down. So we'll kind of see how that turns out. The American team defeated the national team 17-9 in that game. But both Singleton and Sierra Wright, remember Sierra Wright wasn't even scheduled to play in the Senior Bowl, but he did so well in the East West Shrine practices and bowl that they got an invite and got to play in it. So both those guys' stocks seem to be heading up as we head toward the NFL draft. And then as far as women's basketball goes, they fell to Ohio State 90-71. So they are 16-6 and 5-6 in Big Ten play as of now. Mia Hargrove led the Huskers, I think 24 points, but one of the Buckeyes had 30. Huskers now 0-5 versus top 25 opponents this year, which is understandable. But the problem is 3 of Nebraska's next 4 opponents are ranked and 4 of their final 7 are ranked. So tough road ahead. Hopefully Nebraska can get past that. As we know, Nebraska has been in the top 25 at times, not currently, but near the bottom of that top 25. So if they can punch up a little bit, certainly would help as they get prepared here to head toward the postseason as well.
Yeah, hopefully they can get back on track. They've got a good team. There was a stretch where I want to say about 10 games into the year, they hadn't scored under 80 points. Obviously, the competition has stiffened a little bit. They got lots of opportunities. Several ranked teams ahead of them. Lots of opportunities in conference play to get back and rolling. I still believe that this is a team that can make the NCAA tournament. They can make some noise in the Big Ten tournament. Like you mentioned, they were ranked the entire season up until about 4 games ago. That loss to Wisconsin, I think, knocked them out. They won a couple of games, obviously fell short versus Ohio State. Hopefully they can get back on track here and get rolling a little bit. How far has the Pro Bowl fallen? Has the Pro Bowl ever not been played on a Sunday? Like, they lost their Sunday time slot here. That's craziness to me. Like, when people are just like, oh, like when it comes to college football, well, people won't stop tuning in. I am afraid that I've seen this story before, and hopefully the end of the book looks different. And I'm not saying it's like the end of the book for the NBA, but the NBA is nowhere near as popular as it once was. You look at the Pro Bowl, like the Pro Bowl wasn't obviously like the Super Bowl, but it was something worth tuning into. And then all of a sudden it wasn't. And then they took the pads off, which I kind of understood. And they tried to make it as entertaining as they could. I don't know. Kind of like the Husker games. Like they tried to do what they could with the situation they had last year, but it's not going to be the same as having actual football. And now it's not even on a Sunday. They just try to blend it into Super Bowl week. It's just really weird to me how it basically just lost its time slot after it's always been on Sunday. Am I wrong? Has it ever not been on a Sunday? I mean, post leather helmet days? Like, serious question there.
Yeah. I have to look into it. For me, that's what it feels like too. I think this is the first year that they're going away from that. So kind of strange. And remember, they're not going to Hawaii or anything. You know, it's part of the San Francisco, which is hosting the Super Bowl. You know, it's going to be all part of that week. So I think it's supposed to kind of be integrated and help boost the Super Bowl week there from the, you know, whatever host location site is going to be from year to year. But we'll see. It's so interesting because those honors are very important. But you know, like with the likes of like Shedeur Sanders getting to the Pro Bowl, like the whole argument the whole time, I'm thinking, well, because historically you place guys in this, how many Pro Bowls they made and this and that, and you probably, you know, we're gonna have to start going away from that. But I never once thought of, okay, now he's going to play flag football. Like, it didn't even come to my, they're playing, because that's how small the Pro Bowl game is. I didn't even think about the game. I'm thinking about the honor of being named to the Pro Bowl.
You know, it's funny. Vouch for me here, or don't, call me out, one or the other. During the break, I was like, what other football news we got? And you said something about the Pro Bowl. I was like, oh, I completely forgot that even happened. You're like, oh, it doesn't happen until Tuesday. And I was like, what? Did that not just happen within the past 5 minutes? I was like, what is going on? So first of all, it wasn't even on my radar. I really didn't care. And then I wasn't aware that it was moved from Sunday. If you want things to have validity, you have to keep them valid. Bill Belichick is not a Hall of Famer, but Shedeur Sanders is a Pro Bowler. These things do not appear to be valid to me. There is an issue here. If you want people to pay attention to things, they have to make some sort of sense in some way, shape, or form. It's so obvious that people behind the scenes pull strings and get things their way or move things the way they want them. When a guy like, I don't have any relationship with Bill Belichick. I don't have a dog in this fight. When he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, that process loses all credibility. Now, if you want to kind of poke at Shedeur, I mean, you can do that, obviously. Should he really be a Pro Bowler? No. But I mean, more guys are becoming Pro Bowlers than used to be because the Super Bowl is after the Pro Bowl, when it used to be before the Pro Bowl, and then the guys in the Super Bowl the following Sunday would play in the Pro Bowl. You remember that? So you had everyone in the Pro Bowl that should be in it. Well, now there's some players who aren't in it because they're getting ready to play in the Super Bowl. I have no problem with putting the Super Bowl last. I mean, it actually makes sense to me. I actually think you give teams a bye week, guys get healthier. We've had better games. The games have actually been closer. Remember, for many, many years, there was a lot of blowouts in the Super Bowl. Now the games tend, not Eagles and Chiefs last year, but outside of Eagles and Chiefs last year, not helping my argument, for the most part, the games tend to be much, much closer since they made that change. Coaches have more time to game plan. You have more time to prep. You can put in some new plays, and teams tend to be healthier, so you tend to get more competitive games. But there just has to be some sort of validity to this process. You can't like put a feather in front of my face and tell me it's a brick and expect me to believe you, or a brick in front of my face and say, hey, it's a feather. These are really off the top of my head examples, if you couldn't tell. I couldn't think of anything better except a feather and a brick, but I hope it drives home the point. Like, people are not going to buy into this, and they're not going to pay attention, and I think that's what's starting to happen with certain things, and it can extend into other things. Just because things have been successful for a long time, certain things aren't around anymore. I don't see Babies R Us anymore. I don't see AOL.com anywhere anymore. Like, you're not guaranteed to have never-ending success just because you had it for a seemingly very lengthy amount of time. You have to keep doing the right things and adjusting with the times, and there has to be validity to what you're doing. I have a really hard time with that. So recently, we kind of talked about Nebraska's schedule a little bit. So you really look at the first 5 games, very winnable, should be 3-0, almost guaranteed time on Nebraska football here. Okay. What's your prediction? And this is not Kool-Aid. This is February 2nd, way too early predictions. We are allowed to change these 9,999 times before we kick off to open the season. But what's your prediction? What will Nebraska be after their first 5 games, Jake? Because then we take on Indiana. Then we take on, well, it's not Indiana. Is it Oregon first?
Indiana is of the tough games. Yeah, Indiana's before Oregon.
Then Oregon. Then we have a bye. Okay.
Yep.
What's your prediction? We can go after 7 games. You going to go 7-0 after the first 7 games? You want to start with the first 5 games? How do you want to do this?
Well, I think we should start with the first 5 because that is where people are, again, finding a path to Nebraska going undefeated as long as they can.
Finding a path. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Which is possible. I think I'll say this over and over again. Whether they win or they don't, they have to, right? You have to be, if you're Matt Rule in year 4, you've got to beat first-year head coach there in East Lansing. I know Pat Fitzgerald's been through the Big Ten, but you've got to be ahead of schedule there compared to where they're at. Then Maryland. You just can't keep losing to you lose annually to PJ Fleck and Kirk Ferentz. You got to be better than some of these coaches in the Big Ten. And right now you're tied up with Loxley 1-1. You got to get an advantage here and there. And all that along with the fact that this is the time to strike. I mean, because the rest of your schedule is going to be very difficult. So if you don't take care of the 50-50 balls that maybe I'll lean slightly toward Nebraska, then it's going to be a long season.
We also get Maryland at home. We go to Michigan State. We get Maryland at home this year. I do want to put a final thought on Nebraska wrestling. Sorry to jump around here a little bit, but Nebraska wrestling has wrestled some of the best competition in the entire country this year. In fact, I take this as a compliment. They have the most amount of losses of any wrestling program ranked in the top 10. They have 5 right now. No other program has more than 3. And that's due to the competition that they're facing. I personally think that's going to benefit them when we hit the postseason. All right, so now I'll dive. Sorry to jump around there, but I was like, I want to put that final button on Nebraska wrestling. We'll come back into football here, and we're going to do the last segment on Some other interesting thoughts on schedules around the country and Nebraska football schedule. But before we go to break, Nebraska, after 5 games, better be, well, first of all, they better be 3-0. I had somebody text me the other day, well, they probably won't be 3-0. I was like, do you know who the first 3 games are? Like, I know, like, North Dakota's a decent team. Some of these teams are decent, but like Ohio, Bowling Green, North Dakota, I'm sorry, if we can't expect to be 3-0, we got issues, you know what I mean? So 3-0, and then you look at Michigan State, Maryland. Again, Michigan State was a mess last year. Pat Fitzgerald's a good football coach, but he will have been there for months, not years at that point. That is a game where we should definitely be favored to win. It should be able to win, and then Maryland comes into Lincoln. Like, we should absolutely, to your point, 1-1 versus Mike Loxley, Maryland's head coach. Somebody asked me the other day, and I did not look it up because I just didn't want to know the answer. What is Rule's record versus interim coaches and coaches who were filling in for a regular head coach that can't be there for whatever reason, like Michigan last year?
Yeah.
I didn't look it up. If you just had to guesstimate, do you think it's a winning record?
No.
I don't either. And I'm like, what is the deal? I'm not trying to knock him, but I'm just like, well, somebody posed that to me, and I was like, I'm not looking up that answer because I'm not going to like it. And I want to have a happy day. So for me, there's a real world where we should be 5-0. This isn't Kool-Aid, because we're going to talk about the last 7 games here in a minute. But we better be 4-1. If we're not 4-1, we got real issues. So when we come back, we'll talk about the rest of Nebraska's schedule a little bit. Like, we play on October 31st at home. Blackout game, Jake? Thoughts?
I think so.
You said that like you were excited about it. Are you excited about it?
I'm excited about it, too.
I actually didn't hate it last year. I thought it was pretty cool. If we win that game, it's a lock.
Yeah.
We can go down the whole rabbit hole of it. Dylan doesn't get hurt, then we win, and everything goes differently. But unfortunately, it was what it was. I actually didn't hate it. I'm partial to black shirt related things, so I'll just put my bias out there. I did think it was actually pretty cool. Somebody hates Northwestern. Just FYI, they play 11 straight games.
Yikes.
Let me pull it. I got it right here. They play South Dakota State first. Who doesn't need a bye after they play South Dakota State? Everyone needs a bye after that. Week 2, they have a bye, and then they play 11 straight games. It's like somebody's like, hey, somebody in our conference has to get the just dumped on. Northwestern, it's going to be you guys. There's some other interesting things as well. I'm pretty sure Ohio State's playing the NFC East, North, South, and West this year. Like I said, Oklahoma and Florida were last year. We'll chat about all that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
At DWE Generations, having a plan matters, especially when it comes to protecting what's most important. They work with individuals, families, and business owners to help make smart financial decisions that support life today and set the foundation for generations. David Darlington, Russell Walton, and Cody Eiler bring decades of experience, and their dedicated team provides follow-through, answering questions, explaining next steps, and staying connected as life evolves. DWE Generations, a generational wealth planning firm. DWE Generations is a marketing name for individuals doing business as representatives of Northwestern Mutual. Visit generations.nm.com or call 402-483-7871 and ask for David, Russell, or Cody.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
The best barbecue deal in town is at Hog Wild. We're serving up a $5.99 meal deal that includes a 1-meat sandwich, your favorite classic side, and a drink, all for just $5.99. Craving brisket? Upgrade to our tender, slow-smoked beef brisket for only $1.50 more. Join us for lunch or dinner, or order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway, Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com. Stop asking your friends if they're hosting a party this Sunday and come join the real party instead. Join 93.7 The Ticket for the Super Bowl at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th & this Sunday and walk away with great prizes just for showing up. Why worry about making a great spread of foods for the game at your house when you can enjoy all the great wings and more at Buffalo Wings and Rings? It's the Super Bowl party with 93.7 The Ticket at Buffalo Wings and Rings this Sunday at 68th &
Every winter, I struggle with feeling sluggish and down. I've read about the benefits of red light systems, but trying the Spectrum 7 at MaxTan has become my bright spot. A few sessions of full body red light, and I'm more energized and centered. It's my go-to winter boost, MaxTan.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G1388852 and G16518. 2,500 down with proof credit.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
This is the Adam Carrker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carrker Show. Shout out Mulberry Barbecue. Get that great barbecue, ladies and gentlemen. All right. They now have two. If you hadn't heard, Jake, have you heard they have two locations?
I've heard.
How are your showers lately?
They're okay.
Need to add some barbecue sauce. Well, that went a weird direction. But back to Mulberry Barbecue. Delicious barbecue, great food. Two locations at 11th and Cornhusker and 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Both locations are open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burn-in sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, full slab of ribs, half-smoked chicken, and much, much more. Plus, get incredible sides, get fueled for lunch today, or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker and 61st and Apples Way, just off of Highway 2. I want to briefly go over Nebraska's schedule, but I got some other schedules that I want to get to quickly. Let me ask you, Jake. Should we push more thoughts on Nebraska's schedule to tomorrow? Because we got through Game 5. Like, we're 5-0, guaranteed. You know, nobody can stop us. Off-season Kool-Aid.
And on a good note,
I can't fully. We're good. Well, how about we put a button on that? We'll come back to that tomorrow. We're 4-1, 5-0 as of right now. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
All right, let's chat about some other schedules across the country. Again, somebody hates Northwestern. Sorry for those guys. That kind of stinks. You look at USC though, them dropping Notre Dame, which stinks for college football as a whole. We just keep losing rivalry after rivalry after rivalry. We got Texas A&M back, and that's great. But you don't have Nebraska, Oklahoma. I know it's been gone for a while, but still, you don't have USC. No, you don't have a lot of these. You don't have the backyard brawl. If you're a college football purist, the old Pitt versus West Virginia rivalry, all those games. All right. But what USC did do was actually pretty genius, because the way the calendar falls this year, each college football team gets one bye week. Not two. One. Except USC. You know what they did? They added the week 0 game in Ireland.
Nice.
So then they get a bye, and then they get their other bye that they were going to get. They get 2 byes now. Ingenious by the folks at USC. Now, Indiana's interesting. We don't have a bye either, but Indiana, before we play Indiana, all right, as what was that, our 6th game, they don't have a bye week for 9 weeks. And in those 9 weeks, they'll play Ohio State, Michigan, and us in good old Lincoln, Nebraska. So they got a bit of a challenging schedule this year. You look at Ohio State, they play at Texas, at Iowa, at USC, at Nebraska. Then they play Illinois, Oregon, and Michigan. That's 8 big brands or teams that could very easily finish ranked. And a lot of them could be in the college football playoff. Of this, let's see, of the top 6 teams in the Big Ten, they do have the best odds to make the playoff. All right. Let me start that over. They play of their 9 conference games, 7 of those teams will have better odds than just about any other team outside of the SEC and the top end of the Big 12 ACC. Those teams will have really good chances of being ranked and or making the college football playoff. That was easy for me to say. You go to Michigan. Of the top 6 teams in the Big Ten, they will play 5 of them. Michigan, Ohio State, Indiana have some challenging schedules this year. Penn State, every year they have a, what is the word that's used? Oh, yeah, manageable schedule. How do they manage a manageable schedule every year? That is beyond me. In fact, Josh Pate already has them in the playoff. A team that almost fell apart at one time this offseason is now playoff bound. That's crazy to me. I genuinely think Ohio State is one of the hardest schedules in all of college football in recent memory in college football. When you think about all the teams they're going to play. If they go 9-3, I'm probably going to pound the table and say they should probably be in. If they go 9-3 with this schedule, which, by the way, is the same thing I said with Florida. Oklahoma, that did not happen for Florida. Oklahoma went 10-2, got in. So we'll see what happens here. I will say this. When it comes to Nebraska's schedule, we're going to revisit a little bit more. We've already determined, that we're 5-0 at this point. But we have some tough teams that we're going to play. We're aware of that. But the way it's laid out is not bad. We don't have 11 games in a row. We don't have 9 games in a row. We don't have long back-to-back road trips. We only have one part of our schedule where we have back-to-back road games. It's at Illinois and at Rutgers. Rutgers is long. Illinois is not a long road trip. There's no long road trip with the short Friday night turnaround. There's none of that. All of our games are on Saturday except Black Friday this year. The way the schedule is laid out could not have been any better for Nebraska. Now, we got some tough opponents, and we're going to be underdogs in at least half our games, if not more, and rightfully so. And Jake and I are having some fun, 4-0, 5-0. Like, we'd better be 4-1 after 5 games. I know that. But having 7 games and then a bye, and then the last 5 games, it's like the perfect place bye. It doesn't guarantee a freaking thing. I'm just looking at this, and I'm like, man, we didn't get Northwestern. We didn't get Ohio Stated. We didn't get what happened to a lot of these other teams. So the way it's laid out isn't half bad at all. The schedule itself and the opponents we're going to play, pretty daunting, pretty challenging. We'll see what happens. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, Jake?
Yeah, just look, there might be, I've seen there might be an opportunity for a Friday game to peek in it. So it's not been announced yet, but we could see in the next couple months, maybe, that Illinois game, possibly even that Michigan State game, move to Fridays. What I've heard from what Sean Callahan said. I'll just go ahead and cite the source when he was on early break.
So I'll be honest with you, I was surprised because I think, doesn't every Big Ten team play a Friday night game?
I think at least
for the most part.
Yeah.
So I was surprised we didn't have one. So if it changes, that wouldn't surprise me at all. And of course it would be Illinois. Why wouldn't it be Illinois? We always play Illinois on a Friday.
Right.
It actually would be nice because our only long road trip to Piscataway, we'd have an extra day off because it's the following day. We'd have an extra day to get ready for it, I should say. All right. Have a glorious Monday. Glorious week. If you're going to break into Jake's house, please do some vacuuming. Until next time, go Big Red, and always remember to throw the bones.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive,